Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist David Paul. It is Sunday, August 31st, 2025 in the 12 o'clock hour. Thanks for tuning in here from the home studio. We are tracking some good weather building in as we go through the rest of today, Monday, and Tuesday before the heat moves back in. I hope your weekend is going well. Hey, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends. I've got content here most days, including the ball cap recap during the week. Have you seen that? Each weekday morning in a very casual setting. I got a ball cap on and glasses as I give you an overview of the weather. Speaking of the weather, let's get to it. There's a look at what is happening right now across our area and beyond. A very quiet Sunday after some shower activity moving on through on Saturday and really back on Friday too. We had some wet weather out there, but pretty quiet at this hour across the entire southeast part of the country. There are some clouds still around, kind of a partly cloudy sky here for the afternoon hours with that lingering moisture. But I'll tell you what, the dry air comes back in. A taste of fall returns as we get into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday before we turn a bit hotter. And the calendar will remind us that, hey, meteorological fall does begin tomorrow, the first day of September. It's almost here. Down in the Gulf, some little swirls showing up, weak low pressure there, and weak low pressure out here into the Atlantic, but the wind shear too high for any tropical organization, which is something we look for this time of year. But this big trough of low pressure continues to dominate the eastern part of the country, and that will bring us that reinforcing shot of cooler and drier air as we get into Monday and Tuesday. So as we zoom in here, little swirl here, little swirl there, little swirl moving towards Florida. Again, no tropical development here. A partly cloudy sky at this hour. Dew points are coming down a little bit. It is still a little humid out there. It's not very warm though. Temperatures as of the noon hour, mainly in the 80s. 83 now in Dothan. It's 84 now in Mariana. Most of us peaking this afternoon in the middle 80s, and that normal high is 90. So middle 80s is much cooler than normal for this time of year. All right, let's zoom around here a little bit and show you what the big change will be, which is that drop in the dew point as we get into Monday and Tuesday. Dew point readings now generally in the 60s, 69 Dothan, 68 Mariana, 64 there in Luverne, looking at relatively humid air still in place for today. But as I go northward, I want to show you what is happening this Sunday afternoon. Notice the green showing up here. Tennessee into parts of Mississippi and Alabama, Kentucky back into the Carolinas. That green, dew points in the 50s. So the lower the dew point, the more comfortable the air feels. Last week we had dew points in the 50s. It felt great, led to record lows in the area. That might happen again, by the way, as we get into Tuesday morning. So I'm going to show you the future state of the atmosphere, and we're going to show you the dew point here beginning right now. Dew points again in the 60s in our area. I'm going to animate this until early next week. And just notice here that drier air really makes a push in Monday and into Tuesday. That green means dew points in the 50s. So as we get into Monday afternoon, Monday night, Tuesday morning, that dry air kind of works in on a northeasterly wind, and that will really cool us off at night. Morning lows on Tuesday, lower 60s. In fact, could be record territory at that point. All right, let's switch over to what is happening in the tropics, and let's touch on what's going to happen as we go through this week. And that will be some development of that tropical wave. I've been watching that for a while. It was over Africa, coming back out into the Atlantic today, and it will continue moving westward as we go through this week. And it will likely organize. That has a good chance of being our next named storm in the Atlantic basin, because otherwise it's very quiet here. The peak of hurricane season is September the 10th. So normally this time of year, late August, we have at least one or two systems out there, but nothing. A lot of wind shear over the western part of the Atlantic, the Gulf. Again, weak low pressure, no tropical organization there. Down there in the Caribbean, very quiet. And then again, most of the Atlantic looking tranquil right now. But that tropical wave has decent spin to it and will continue to develop as it moves generally west to west-northwest for this week. That area of low pressure moving off the coast of Africa early today. So let me show you the future evolution. This is using the European ensembles. 51 different members here. Most of them show development as we get towards the end of the week, next weekend, and then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, that's the 9th. Going through time, it moves generally to the west-northwest, and then maybe curves northward out there in the Atlantic, maybe towards Florida. kind of depends on this high pressure. If it goes far enough to the east, that weakness will develop again over the western part of the Atlantic, like we saw with Aaron. And the previous system also kind of that weakness out there, fair non, that's what it was out there, a weak system in the Atlantic. So we'll see if that does unfold again. A lot of the long range ensembles are indicating that that is a decent chance. Some of the ensemble members here towards Florida looking 2 weeks out. So that would be 2 Sundays from now. And there's a chance, we can't rule it out, but hopefully this does pan out and we get that flow northward then through the western part of the Atlantic. It is hurricane season. It is the peak of hurricane season. So odds are we will see some organization at some point. But I'll tell you what, the Gulf and the Caribbean look very quiet, really, for the next couple weeks. We have to watch these storms, though, that can spin up very quickly down there in the Gulf and in the Caribbean as we get through September and into October. All right, your forecast for tonight for the Wiregrass, 65 degrees, our low temperature. A few clouds here and there, winds northeast at 5 miles per hour. Nice northeast wind tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, lower humidity, a big drop across the area tomorrow in that dew point, 86, our high temperature, which is, again, below normal. Nice and cool Tuesday morning. I'm going 62. That would be a record low. 87 our high on Tuesday. 90 Wednesday, a slight chance of a stray shower at that point. Then lower to middle 90s building in, getting towards the weekend. 92 on Friday. Will be warm for those football games this Friday evening. Yeah, 95 Saturday is above normal. 93 our high on Sunday. A slight chance of a shower at that point. Low temperatures will be coming up also back up into the 70s. In fact, lower 70s as we get towards the end of the week and the weekend. So it will not be quite as nice as it will become Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, especially at night with those morning lows in the 60s and potential record coolness again for Tuesday morning. That's a check on the weather on this Sunday. Again, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. Tell your friends and catch out the ball cap recap, which I do most weekday mornings here from the home office. Enjoy the rest of today, and I'll see you next time right here on the YouTube channel. Y'all take care.